Good evening, everybody. How you guys all doing? Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome back, in
Hi.
fact.
Yes.
Um, welcome back to the show. We'll get started with the first thing, which was why we couldn't broadcast last week. And I will start off by saying this is the cause right here. Well, not this here,
He
but right here.
broke it. He broke everything.
I did. So the short of it is the equipment I usually use, and I made a posting about it, is my laptop died. And it did. Most significantly is the CPU fan. Without going into the whole detail, this laptop is not capable of taking any stress, and running this show is stressful on any machine you're doing this on because it's running all sorts of stuff. So we had to postpone because we didn't have a
It's
stable
not me
machine.
yelling in the mic.
No, you figured that would be it because I know I feel that stress being on the other end of it, but no, it wasn't that. So, so now we got new equipment, brand new, spanking new equipment across the board. A brand new desktop machine. It's got latest i7, latest NVIDIA 4070 Ti. For those who are tech, they'll know what it is. Yeah, we've got a large beast, which helped me get a lot of video clips prepared really fast for tonight's show, and it should make things much better and much sharper. That said, there's a fair amount of stuff that I'm still catching up and trying to configure. Just got the microphone actually hooked up about 5 minutes before the show was getting going. Did not get my lights, so my lighting's not quite correct. But I think it's still clear enough that you guys can actually see A, me, and B, the wonderful pink. And Deana, I'm wearing pink. Because, apparently this upsets some people. If you wear pink, it says some sort of thing and it triggers them. And I figured, why not?
Yeah, do it.
Why not?
Whatever it takes. It takes so little.
It does. You know what?
So
This is
little.
literally the least I could do. So why not?
Let's
I'm
do
a
it.
doer. So that's me, and that's my apology. Deana, how are you doing? How have you
I'm doing
been the past
great.
2 weeks? Because you
Yeah.
haven't been here in 2 weeks.
Well, it actually gave me time. I see Keith is here. Thanks, Keith. I have been writing some music and I've never put music behind it. But then on our Friday night spaces, we got to hear Keith get all snazzy on his keyboard. And so
Yes.
I gave him a call and he's going to help me and he's going to help me put music behind my song because I am very basic when it comes to instruments like piano. I think I took it when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, maybe. And so I know what the keys are, but I can't play music.
Well, I mean, lyricists and composers, it's not uncommon for it to be separate. I mean,
Yeah.
And if Keith is very strong musically in regards to composing and
He has
whatnot,
the ear. Like I'm singing, I don't even know what key I'm in, and he's like, "Oh, great, that's a G major, great." And I'm like, "Sure, okay." And then I switched. He's like, "Oh, good, you went to a B flat." I'm like, "Okie doke." and he started playing some music behind like what I was singing, and I'm like, "Sweet." So I'm gonna have, and then all I did, so I downloaded an app that had beats and I thought I'd be able to learn it. But so I went back to my music, the song that I've been working on for the last month, and I put on a faster beat and all of a sudden an entire song came out of that beat. So I wrote an entire song and was just singing it into my phone with the beat. That's why my microphone was so loud and I killed your ear at the beginning of this, like when we were first talking. I apologize. So yeah, and then I forgot. You guys want to see something? I bought this. I have to download the app, but I bought this about 6 months ago. This sweet ass thing is a tiny keyboard with like drum pads, and then it can remember your song, and you just add a bunch of stuff in the background. I'm not going to be amazing at that, but at least it's going to help me out, a little bit. And then
I guess you to do what you want to do. if Keith's
Yeah.
helping you out.
And then I could send it
Better.
to Keith with just a little bit of stuff, and then he can put the magic behind it because I think he's awesome. Keith, you're
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. I mean, hey, I will tone deaf guy who is not gonna be able to help you guys musically in any freaking way whatsoever.
You
I
c
may be able to do percussion, but that's it. And I mean, still, I'm not a trained percussionist at all whatsoever. But I'll retweet, I'll promote, I'll help you guys any and every way technically.
You're gonna do the video
Okay,
because I
there,
have an
done.
idea what the video is gonna be behind the song that I wrote.
Mhm.
I have ideas because it's actually gonna take from real life.
I can
So
absolutely do that. I can 100%
cool.
do that. I can do the whole, yeah. The video part, done. That's all
Sweet.
you need,
We
done.
have the A team. I'm so excited.
There you go.
So
So
that's what I
as
was doing. Thanks. It's
no
cool.
problem. It's good to know.
Yeah.
And as we go into the first story, I mean, actually, before we get into the first story, something else you did last week.
What did I do?
It's embarrassing. It's quite something you're quite proud and happy about. It has to do with this photo and my bandana.
It's saying no slideshow for me, but I think people can see it. I don't
Can
know
people see images? Can people see images?
do people see the image? Because I don't see the image, but oh, you
Okay.
can see it. Okay. It's always me that can't see it, but I'll
I
refresh. Well, how do I refresh again?
F5 on the keyboard.
Okay. Does that mean I'm gonna get
Sorry, that kind of entertains me when she does that. So the answer to her question was obviously yes. She will be back in a moment. And well, I didn't. Dina did want to go to the movie. She's
Ooh,
coming back here. There you go. Can you see the photo now?
I love that. I love those pictures we took. That movie
There you go.
was amazing.
There you go. So it's a bit in combination with why I'm wearing the bandana. I did not see the movie.
You have to.
I'm not saying I'm not going to. I am going to do it. I like my wife and I are both sort of we know Barbie and Oppenheimer and whatnot coming out. We do want to see it. We will see it as soon as it's available on streaming. And it's just because we're not big on going to theaters. Um, Neither of us are bigger crazy about going to theaters for crowds and whatnot. Sometimes we might go see some live shows or theater shows, but if it's a movie, eh, we'll go see it within the confines of the house because got a nice TV now.
Mhm.
So, but again, this movie has been kind of insane in regards to the rights. Like, oh, this went gone woke is going to go broke. It's not at over
No,
$1 billion.
for sure.
So, if that's their definition of broke, holy shit! I want to
Here's
be
the
this kind of
thing,
broke.
though. I had no interest in going and seeing this movie. Like, there was no interest in it at all until, Rachel Gilmore put out her TikTok about them losing their minds. And I'm like, well, if they're losing their minds, this must be good. And I don't even know what they were losing their minds about, really. Like, it was such a well done movie. Um, it was so well done. Like,
So, I can't
how
comment
do you
on. Yeah.
how do you get hurt over that? Over like you have to see it. I don't want to get like no spoilers, but I don't
No
understand how
spoilers. Yeah.
somebody could be upset about what I saw.
So yeah, no spoilers, obviously, because I haven't seen it, and so I'm the only one that matters here. I'm kidding, but no, but I mean, so some of the things that I sort of heard about why they were upset about is first of all, there's like, oh, it's a Barbie movie. Yes, you went to go see a Barbie movie. Okay, so the superficial kind of arguments in regards to like, oh, it's a movie about pink and girls and whatnot, and
Really
it's
wasn't.
again, you've seen it, so you're
Yeah.
already like 15 steps ahead about it, all these other guys. But to some of them that did actually go into the theater, and it's one of those things that I kind of had some difficulties, and I talked to this with other people too. So their response, which was, "Well, this movie is it's centric of or, like, I think it was Piers Morgan that sort of started the whole thing. Was like this movie is centric about women, and there's the men are one dimensional like an accessories." And I'm like, well, men and boys have never really had an interest in Barbie because you marketed it to girls and told boys not to play with them or you will mock and ridicule.
The thing is, though, he's wrong. Like, that means he walked out of the movie in the first 15 minutes because
Probably.
it's opposite of that. The Kens were not one. I mean, they were one dimensional. That was the purpose
Mhm.
of the message, not that men are one dimensional. Like, it's a role reversal. And it was only the first maybe 15, half an hour, whatever, 15 minutes, half an hour. And then it got into like the stuff that is, I don't know. It's just so weird
Which
that like
it's much it you're absolutely right. These guys are not gonna be really researching much. I have no doubt about your analysis. I have no doubt about everybody's analysis in regards to actually watch the movie for its entirety, which is what you did, and which is what
yeah.
most other people who went there to go see it. It's a
I got teary-eyed in part of it. Like, it was like
I no
my
doubt.
chest was hurting and lump in my
Yeah,
throat and teary-eyed. Like, there was a part in there, and I'm not sure if men will experience that same feeling or not. They should if they have daughters. They
and
really
and
should.
and you and I don't and again I don't disagree with you at all. And you're and because again, but I can't comment because again I haven't seen it,
Yeah.
so no spoilers. Um,
Okay.
but again, more to against them, which is you went to see it for what it is, and again, and even sort of like without me not understanding the whole thing, this is a movie based on a very popular girl's toy at the time. And so, and what kind of bugged me with the whole Pierce Morgan thing was like, oh well, they didn't make the Ken doll be what it like a man, and I'm like, you wanted even though you didn't play with the
He
Barbie
was
doll.
very much like a man. That was
Yeah,
what was fucking hilarious about it.
no,
He
no, it's
was
fair.
very much a man.
Oh no, it's fair, but I mean, my Pierce or Morgan sort of thing, I'm really sort of pissed off with him. Not pissed off, but it's just sort of like you're a fucking dumbass. Moment is you're asking for the Ken doll to be exactly the way you want it to be because it's your view of masculinity or and view of how things should be, and you expect the Ken doll to be represented the way you want to be represented, even though you've never dealt with the toy or whatnot. This is your white male entitlement coming in saying, no, I want this to be all the way I want to be. So any place I walk into, it's always making me feel comfortable and I'm in charge or I'm to be respected.
Does he
Um,
go into, like, Saving Private Ryan movie and think that those men represent him? Do you know what I
yes.
mean? Like, as
Ah,
if
oh, he
men
does.
are like, he's acting like men are one-dimensional, that he's acting like men are a monolith, and
They again, he's got this view
it's
with like men should be a monolith of what I feel it should be a monolith of.
yeah,
Is
like,
the
yeah.
message that these guys are coming out with. So with that message, they come, they come across this and the heads fucking explode.
I love this. Like,
So
what
the short of
everybody
it,
was posting pictures.
oh so everybody, a lot of people went to the theater and to the movie theater to go show their pink shirts, and it's like, hey, I'm going to go see Barbie. I saw a lot of female people or female I follow and whatnot that were doing that as they're going to the theater, especially. And then Justin Trudeau was like, yeah, I'm going in there with my son, and we're gonna watch Barbie now. I feel one of them is lying when not lying, but sort of like in regards to the pink because I'm looking at that and I'm partially colorblind in regards to shades, but I'm like, your shirts are not quite the same shade of pink.
Well, they're not. One's fuchsia and one is like a peachy pink,
Fair. Understand yeah, but
but
me
they're both
understanding
pink.
me understanding camera and optics, I'm like, I understand that that color can actually change in regards to hue because of white
Yeah.
balancing and everything else. So there's a bit of leeway. But you know what? I'm gonna go with the idea that they're both pink. Just because it's even better that way. But he's going in there with his son to go watch Barbie because you know what? No, it's a wonderful, positive a thing to go watch and see. I'm sure they had a good time. That's it. Nothing more to it. But of course, people lost their fucking minds. Like Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, the man's man who cries.
He's not he's not, yeah, okay. The man's man who cries. I mean, it's okay to cry as a man, but he kind of is over the top.
Well, no, no, yeah, no. I have no issues with men crying. I say the man's man who cries because he's the person going to tell you, well, it's a sign of weakness, and then he
Yeah,
goes and cries.
that's right.
Makes sense. Makes sense of that. Continuing on to Pierce Morgan, as we said. Well, I'm glad I'm not Canadian. So are we, bud.
That makes 40 million of us. Like,
Maybe a little less. There's some Alberta in there that would like Pierce Morgan for some reason. No idea why, but hey, Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk.
what an idiotic thing to say. And Viva Frey, what a loser. Guy's such a loser.
I'm just like, I can't even. And this guy we know.
Gucci. I didn't see this one.
Yeah.
Why did he say what the fuck?
Because they're all reacting to the idea that.
And none of them have seen the movie, so none of them can be upset about the fact that a man saw this movie because they haven't actually seen the movie, so they don't know. There were so many dads with their daughters,
Absolutely.
bringing their daughters, like, many men were there.
Oh, absolutely. There's a fair collection of photos of men there with their daughters. Some of them wearing pink too, in support.
Yep.
And again, it's like most Hollywood movies, they're making content in regards to the movie, so it's going to be addressing the main audience as well as sometimes the parents are just going to be there too. But this movie, from again, what I understand, and I refuse to let people talk to me about it because I don't want to spoil it. Because I'll tell you guys right now, I will see it with my wife when it becomes available on streaming.
It
Just because
it's not
I will.
it's not a children's movie, by the way. I mean, children
Yes.
can go to this movie, but it's not geared to children
No, it's
specifically.
PG-13 is what I
That's right.
understand.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's got mature enough content, not adult content, but mature enough that
Yeah.
it's got mature subjects, which makes sense. So yeah, but
I loved it. I recommend it. I
mhm.
can't wait to see Oppenheimer too, as well. I mean,
Well, Trudeau's already seen it
yes, I saw that.
with
And
his daughter.
there he is with his daughter. Did you post? Oh, you're not posting. Yes. There he is with his daughter.
Yeah, so he went there with his daughter to go see Oppenheimer, and of course that also caused all sorts of explosions because
The most disgusting, despicable things anybody could say, the most misogynistic crap came out of their mouths.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Are you going to
No,
show it? No?
no, I'm not gonna show it. I
That's
need to
good.
get it quite prepped, but
It's
yeah,
fine. You
yeah.
don't have to show it. It's on Twitter. They're vile. They're disgusting. Um, she's a 14-year-old girl. She looks great. Like, she just looks like your average, typical 14-year-old girl.
No, and so, but I mean, the short of it in regards to he's done an interesting job in regards to, so at first, he was kind of breaking the whole thing in regards to going to see Barbie with his son, but I thought it was a wonderful kind of progressive message where he's bit probably a lot trolling the right wing
Oops.
in regards to, eh, we're gonna go see Barbie, but then he stepped it up in regards to no, 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 I'm bringing my son to go see Barbie. I'm bringing my daughter to go see Oppenheimer. If you feel that I should have flipped that because that's the way it's supposed to be, that's a you problem.
You know what? I bet you they all went to the movies together and they just wanted to put out Like, I'm sure his daughter went and saw Barbie, or unless she went with her friends, and that's why she wanted to go see Oppenheimer, because she already went
It,
to Barbie with her friends,
to be
and
honest,
probably told her dad and her brother all about it, and they're like, "Yeah, let's go check this out." Like,
or it could have been the three of them for both
yeah,
movies. Remember, one person has
yeah,
to hold the camera.
yeah, true, exactly. Could have been his detail though, security detail.
Could have been the detail. Could have been the details of the whole thing. But he might have
Yeah,
has to talk to the kids and said, you know what, let's do it
yeah,
this way just to
let's
mess
take
with them.
pictures.
Yeah. To send them a specific message. So.
And $10 says the kids were like, "Yeah, post this one for Barbie and post this one for Oppenheimer."
Oh, I have no doubt the kids are more than willing to play.
Yeah,
They're absolutely more than willing to play.
yeah.
So that's Barbie. Do you know what else happened to this weekend in Ottawa?
Rum rum.
The bikes are coming.
All of them. Ready? You ready?
Yeah! Woo! Woo!
Let's count them, everybody. It's like Sesame
Yeah!
Street.
Yes! And there it is, guys.
Yes.
But I just noticed there's not very much people here. Not very many people, which is a shock. But hey, we saw the bikes already.
We were all at the cenotaph right there, and they wouldn't allow us. They wouldn't allow the bikes, and we had to run to see the bike.
Well, I got it on live. I was right there, right there.
So did you get Neil? Was he driving?
Yep, he was right in front.
Good. I'm along here, but they didn't allow me.
Well,
Did you see how fast that Christine? Did you see
check
how
my
fast
lives.
that cop come out of his car trying to attack me?
So fast.
That's okay. I got to see it. Na 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 na. I got to see it. Na 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 na.
So there was about 20 to 30 bikes. That
No,
crossed.
there was more. It's just that they went so fast that you
Oh, it's true.
didn't
It's true.
catch
It's true.
them
You're
all.
right. They went so fast.
So
I'm like, lightning fast, so fast. I think 4-year-old describes like he went so fast. Um, and to give you an idea of what the
Na 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 boo boo.
exactly the cenotaph was filled with people to welcome them, and they weren't allowed to go up. And when I say filled with people, I'm talking about filled with people.
Dozens and dozens of them.
Yes, just there to go see them, to come up there.
There were just as many observers as there were motorcycles. They were able to bring out 60 whole people. It was really, really well done, you guys. Rolling blunder. I like it. I don't know how many times do these guys have to lose before they figure out that it's done. Like, just it's done, you guys. I know you're watching. It's over.
Well, yeah. I mean, like even though so to those who might be listening, and I say that, yeah, I know they are. You okay? The convoy had 12,500, not a million, but you had a huge amount with the vehicles and trucks. At Rolling Thunder last year, I think it was a couple of thousand people, if I remember correctly. There was a significant amount at the last Rolling Thunder last year during April. You had 20 to 30 bikes, maybe 20 to 30 people on the cenotaph. And let's be honest, you can count them in this photo. It's not that much of a challenge. This shit's done in regards
Remember,
to
it takes somebody to take the picture. Don't
True.
forget the person taking the picture.
gotta add that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's yeah, that's it.
I
That's
love
about-
how they take these pictures and put them out there, though, as if like they've accomplished something too.
It's true. It's absolutely true. So all right, let's move on because
Bye.
we're discussing this thing longer than the actual
It-
event
Yeah.
Now we shoot off to Vancouver for this guy.
Sandwich Board Steve.
It's the name, Sandwich Board Steve.
I showed Tanya today.
Mhm.
I showed her because somebody made a comment and everybody's using Sandwich Board Steve. And I want everybody to know that first tweet that I put out was Tanya who thought of that. And she said it to me and I'm like, can I please put that up on Twitter? And she said yes. And thank you everybody for making it stick. Sandwich Board Steve. It's not even a billboard sandwich board.
It is. It's Sandwich Board Steve. And at this particular point, he is there now with sorry, I need to get my
Need your
notes.
mic. Talk in your mic.
Talking my mic. Why am I?
There you go.
Can't hear me? All right.
If you would like trail off a little bit.
I did not mean to trail off. All right. So Pierre Barnes is there in that particular photo, which is a local of the Vancouver area who's also a big protester there. So this particular event was a trans march, but it was pretty much just these two yahoos walking around doing the Sandwich Board Steve. And I just want to comment first thing in regards to Billboard Chris, which is that the only fucking suit jacket he owns? Because
I don't know. He likes light blue. Is that a masculine man color?
I always see him. Yeah, maybe. But I always see him in that light blue color shit. And it's kind of weird. But there is a video to go with this here. And
the world needs masculine men. Okay.
Yes. So
there are masculine men.
Cool.
What does that even mean, though? Does it mean wearing shoes that are 2 sizes too big for you to make it people think that you're bigger than what you are? Is that what it means? Or does it mean you haven't grown into your feet yet? What does it mean?
I'm not sure. But
what does it mean?
So there is one video from this particular event, and I do want to discuss it here.
Get out of our neighborhood, someone just yelled. I love you. I'm going to walk that way, actually. You know, I have this streak in me where when people tell me I shouldn't be somewhere, I go exactly to that spot.
Yeah, if you're going to go into places when you're told not to go, it's actually more awkward than you realize. But
well, I think it's great that it's funny that he's like, someone just said I don't belong here. Whatever they said. It's like, okay. They meant it. You don't belong there. Get out of here.
His messaging is just like he's telling people like your existence, you don't belong to exist because you don't know. And he'll turn around in regards to saying like, oh well, you know, like I have no problems with the existing trans people. It's just, you know, you're making our kids be trans, which is bullshit.
What's this picture you're about to show? That looks like Faye Johnstone in there.
Would you not ruin it? We're not there yet.
Okay.
You shit up, woman. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, he is nuts. And we're all sick and tired of his bullshit. And he's gonna like he's losing numbers, I think, in Canada. Like they keep thinking that, so it's great. So he's in Vancouver. 2 of them are there. None of the Muslims came out. Like, let's observe these things that need to be observed, because they're acting like they're about to gather 1 million people across Canada which is like 20%, right? 400,000 would be 10%. Yeah. So like 20 some percent of Canadians who are going to march with his disgusting message. And he announced he's going to Vancouver, which is like one of our most populated cities
Yeah.
in Canada, and 2 of them showed up. So let's start getting real about Chris
Mhm.
and the Kamals and the Musa Maru, whatever his dumb name, Mahmoud Muras, and Bahiras of the world. They are this. And we just need to keep reminding them that they are this every single day.
And not just limited to them. Also, throw in the Nikos, throw in the Crystal Peters, throw in all
Yeah.
these, small
Just
and
loud.
vile haters. Yeah,
Yeah,
small but
loud.
loud haters.
Yeah,
A
but
small
they're
squeaky
nothing.
box is still it's very loud.
And we need to keep coming out, and we need to keep drowning them out, even if there's just 2 of them, even if there's just one. What's his stupid name? Goudreau at the Peterborough Library. There was one
Yeah.
time there was just one,
It was
and
just
we all.
Goudreau. That's right. I remember that.
That's right, and you still out, like, drown them out and do all that fun stuff.
Yep.
So that they feel like they never want to come back again.
No, absolutely. And we need to continue with that.
Yeah.
Until they eventually start to disappear.
Well, they have to hide or
Yeah.
never
But
come, or not work in places where people are vulnerable to them and so on.
go back into the word work where you came from.
Yes, under that rock.
Exactly. Speaking of trans marches, now we move over to Montreal, which was kind of spoiled by somebody.
Spoiler alert.
So
Love
Montreal,
this.
Montreal has a trans march. This particular photo was the one I sort of started with. There's quite a few that we're going to go through, mostly because someone who was a huge trans advocate in Montreal, who's there on the left, she posted the photo there. I had the pleasure of meeting her in Montreal while we were there, as well as our own Faye Johnstone from Ottawa, who is the president of Momentum, as well as Wisdom as a leader, I believe, in Wisdom for Action. And they held a very large march.
That's awesome.
Aggressively large march. And I don't have any videos for it, which is fine, but a lot of people have some wonderful signage. Wonderful signage in both languages. And they did a fantastic job. And a massive march. And it was a great success. And we need to see more of these.
Yes.
I mean, it was a huge march. I saw a lot of postings coming in from Faye as well as Celine. They did a phenomenal job. They had a huge, like I said, a huge turnout. Montreal's always been, it's a bit of a hotspot. Having been there, both Deana and I were there that one time. I've been in communication with some people I know in Montreal in regards to activities going on. They've got a bit of a weird issue, but it's very much based in religion in regards to them.
Yeah. Move your mic to your center, maybe. There you go.
I need to get it just right. Does that help?
Yep.
There we go. How's that sound? Or I need to use the earbuds and start listening through it. Anyways, yeah. So they've got a good progressive movement, as well as they do have a very strong religious movement there too. So that's what they have there. I don't know. Opinions, thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, I enjoyed going to Montreal, and it looks like, I don't know what it was like last year or the year before, because I don't know that this hate movement was as big as it was last year and the year before. So there's no, like, I don't have
We have no
any
historics to base the
yeah, like I
judgment on.
can't make any comparisons. But I can maybe compare it to when we were there for the drag story time, and from what we heard was that like that was the largest turnout that they had received up until that point at these story times, and we were like even. It was like 1 to 1 probably, I
It
think.
was.
Yeah.
It,
And then probably 1 to 1 to 1. There was probably as many cops there almost as there
Yeah.
was each side. And we all knew that we had to leave once the cops were there. But I think that they have such a great grassroots movement that that march ended up turning out a whole lot of people. And I think as a result of that march, that any other drag story time that is going to happen, if there's going to be any Amalegas or any of those people trying to show up,
Mhm.
that they have just built this huge network of people who have been empowered to continue to fight the fascists.
Yep.
And the big difference between our side and the fascists are we are cohesive. I know there's some infighting and all that other stuff that goes on, but at the crux of it, at the end of it, we will continue to show like once you've shown up once, you're going to keep coming out. Like you know how important it is for you to be there. This convoy stuff, they know they're full of shit, right? This hatred stuff, they know they're full of shit. And they say the same story over and over again, and it's boring and the same talking points, and it's not believable. So more people are interested in coming out to empowering, joyful, change-worthy events than they are to come out to hate rallies.
Yep.
That's how I see it anyways. So things are still going to get worse before they get better. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to see some pretty hateful stuff, but so far, and the summer is almost over,
Yeah.
we have been it's not as bad as I had anticipated it to be. But that's coming from my perspective.
Yeah. And your perspective is not wrong, but it's not done. I think is the best way I could say it,
Yeah,
because
it's not done.
we're about to get another test that's coming up in August with the Pride Week in August.
In Ottawa,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where, because again, you and I both observe, we try to observe as much as we can across Canada. We tend to focus a little bit more on Ontario, and we'll focus even more in regards to Ottawa because we're at.
Yeah.
That said, so that's when I say, yeah, we're about to get a bit of a test because Pride Week's coming up, and you know they are going to try to do whatever ridiculous things.
But there's not you're fading again for some reason, but there's not as many, like there's more of us in Ottawa. We've seen it at the NAC, and what we've seen at the NAC at Drag Story Time, defending Drag Story Time, is a really small portion of the people who are going to come out to this Pride event, like this Pride Parade, because the Pride Parade is always big.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be bigger this year. And so they're going to have a hell of a time. Oh, I think so. I think so. I think it's going to be bigger this year. And I also think that the Chuds are going to try to be louder, but I think the police are just going to shut them down, and we'll probably see some yoinks.
Yeah. And some of that's
I
good.
predict 4 people getting arrested.
As much as I'm going to enjoy that, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to enjoy that a little bit, particularly if it's from the Chud side. If it's from our side, obviously not.
It will be the Chuds.
So I hope to see the Pride events to be big. I hope to see the Pride Parade to be big. I hope to see the LGBTQI plus community to be, and 2S plus to be in there, absolutely, and to be strong in there. But I also, and this is what I want to see, because the community themselves could be completely there, and they're going to be a good to great size. But it's not enough. I want to see people not part of the community showing up to be allies, to just support. And I want to see a significant amount to say, no, they need to be supported. That's the message we need to show. And then we need to demonstrate, like, no, this is normal. This is what we want. This is an inclusive community. We are an inclusive community. And this shit and this hate, we're now done with it. We've seen you guys doing this shit for a long time. We're done. That's it.
Yeah. I think we will.
I hope so.
Me too. We should find out what the numbers normally are, and then see what it will be. Oh, and
hope
like
so.
see what they were, and then we'll do a comparison the week after we attend the Pride Parade.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hope so, and hopefully we can, because I mean, again, a lot of the stuff that's right now coming in, these are convoys trying to find new directions since the convoys ended, and this is kind of the direction they're going. Now, Montreal wasn't the only place that had a bit of pride this weekend. Nova Scotia Pick 2 had it a little bit. Now,
Yes.
I don't have much footage in regards to the Nova Scotia Pick 2 pride event. I do have a little bit from a friend of ours who gave us a little sample of what's going on there, which was a wonderful parade going through Pick 2. Unfortunately, if you notice in the bottom center right beside the truck, there was a counter protester that was there. And that was by someone by the name of...
Is that Darlene? No.
Yes, it's Darlene LeBlanc.
Okay.
That you can't really tell it's her. There you go. Ms. Darlene LeBlanc showed up to yell and scream at the Pride Parade because she had opinions.
Should she yell freedom? No, she didn't yell freedom this time, right?
I believe
there was
I
no
don't know if
yelling
she-
of freedom.
I believe she tried to yell and holler a little bit. We do know a mutual friend, Mike Toomey, who was there.
Yep.
Who was pretty much the solo defender who would just stand in front of her. And it is impressive to think of, because if you're aware of who Mike Toomey is, he is a very strong advocate supporter. He's flat out at Antifa, to self-describe Antifa, and just he will stand in front of somebody who's protesting against somebody, and this woman Darlene, I can't really tell from this perspective because Mike's holding the camera. I believe I would guess she's maybe 5'2", and I might be basing this on myself. But Mike's also 6'9". He's a towering man.
Yeah.
A large man. So if he stands in front of you, he's covering anything you're trying to look at. Just that's what he is. So he's, his entire goal is just trying to block this.
There's
hate.
one protester. There only needs to be one counter protester or defender. So
he is, but he's not a counter protester. He's just a fucking wall.
or defender. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's
He's
perfect.
he's not a counter protester. He's not a defender. He's just a fucking wall. Done.
And they know him, or she knows him.
Oh, they both
So-
know each other. Oh yeah. No,
yeah,
They
it's perfect.
were like, "Hey, Darlene. Hey, Mike." It almost felt like a small town protest where everybody knows everybody, kind of thing. But again, it was just like it was quite effective. Oh yeah, Mike is just wonderful.
Everybody else is just doing their thing. They don't even know Darlene. They don't even care. They're just like, whatever. Old lady yelling at the clouds. That's what that is.
Old lady yelling at the clouds. Old lady yelling at people. Mike stands in front of them, and nobody notices the old lady anymore because totally blocked off.
Karen.
It was great.
Cloud yelling Karen.
Ooh. Can we spell a cloud with a K?
Yeah.
KYK doesn't work. All right.
Cloud calling Karen KKK. We'll do it like that or something. We'll figure something out. It'll work.
We'll do the research. We'll find
We'll
the
do
notes.
research.
We'll get back to you, kids. We'll be good. Yeah, that's it for that. And then we shoot back to Ottawa. So back to
This
the
one's
convoys.
funny.
Terry sees the photo.
I see the photo. Oh, Lord. He's got his pants on, everyone. Is he wearing a belt? No, but he's wearing bracelets.
They're very snazzy bracelets.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
So shiny.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet Mr. Brian William Derksen. Sorry, William Brian Derksen is actually the order above it. For those of you who are not aware of Mr. William Brian Derksen, which I believe most are, William Brian Derksen is a trucker who never left. So he just lives in Ottawa. Sorry, Walter. Thank you, Shantia.
Walter, yeah.
Walter
he
Brian
lives
Derksen.
in a van down by the river.
The river being Venne. I believe.
The river is there.
There's a river. Yeah, it's the Ottawa River. Yeah, for sure. So he was so he's done repeatedly illegal things, but illegal things not to say like massively illegal, like capital crimes kind of shit. Just
derp. I'm gonna call him Derksen. Derksen.
Yeah. So he's just so I'm trying to find the way to not sort of sound wrong, but he does a lot of sort of small time crimes that are just more of an annoyance and whatnot. He's like a Sunnyvale crook, you know, right out of Trailer Park.
He does very masculine crimes. They're masculine.
Yes. Yeah, masculine crimes. That's what it is. Thank you, but you can't. Yeah. So I mean, he's absolutely. He's just he's just annoying and he's dumb. I mean,
okay, well, what are his crimes? He got speeding tickets. He's got
So up to this point, he's got he has some issues in regards to the convoy himself because he got arrested at a convoy. He's got a massive amount of parking tickets. He's got moving violations for when he was even before the convoy. And a lot of these get exasperated by the fact that he is he's also a soft sit. He's a sovereign citizen, so therefore when he goes to court, he'll represent himself and try to do the whole contractual arguments in regards to everything in there. And we'll get into a little bit more about his appearances in court, and you can talk about it a little bit more because I think they're hilarious, and especially since in the third person. But he did have some new charges because he was arrested on, was it last Friday? And I'm going to let the video explain a little bit because there's a nice little interview with him explaining what his new charges are. And here they are.
But this man, today, what happened? I thought put this to stop just a second. What happened today, Brian?
Well, today was a little bit of a surprise for sure. But yeah, arrested
for what?
Well, let's see. I haven't even read it yet.
Oh, it just happened too.
The filming in the courthouse. Take or attempt to take photo, video recording, publish, broadcasting, reproduce, video recording, mischief of said property.
He had 3 charges to them. And they went a little bit quick. I didn't get them transcribed quite correctly, but yeah, they're exactly as they were listed. They were a take or attempt to take photo or video recording within a courthouse, publish, broadcast, reproduce a photo or video recording within a courthouse, or mischief or obstruction of property, which That one's the only one I'm not too clear based on what have occurred. Deana, you go first.
I mean, it's silly that he recorded in the Ontario Provincial Court when a few
It's
weeks
massively
prior
illegal.
to that. Yeah, and a few weeks prior to that, he was told by a lawyer in the federal court that he couldn't record, and they didn't care. So, I mean, he got away with it at the federal court. So he tried to do it at the provincial court, and he was even told by the clerk, everybody was told that they can't film or disseminate or any of that stuff, like it's private. And he did it anyway. So Mathieu Venne was arrested, a couple of days ago before him or whatever. So I think they're like, making notches on their belt or whatever for like stupidest arrest stories. Like they're really stupid.
Yeah.
But he was released, but he was only released because like it's not a violent crime, so they're not going to hold him in jail. It doesn't mean he's not going to find out. That find out phase is coming. Like, he said he's been processed. So that's the whole point of being arrested and then processing you and then telling you that you are now charged with a crime. And call a lawyer, loser.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because I mean, he's all right. So I believe though the filming that he got arrested and yoinked out and dragged out by his mooning ass to the world. This is what I think he was arrested for, and that's the charge that was there.
Oh, it's not that he filmed in the provincial courthouse?
He did. I don't know if it's a provincial courthouse being the Ottawa courthouse. I believe that's it. Thank you, Magic Hand.
No. Provincial courthouse is where you do traffic tickets and stuff, and that's at 100 Constellation. The federal courthouse, where you do lawsuits and family law and all that stuff, is the one on Elgin.
Elgin, and I know it's provincial. Elgin's provincial.
Okay.
That one I know is provincial because it's part of the.
They don't do any traffic stuff there, though.
No, but that might be the city at Constellation. That might not be the provincial. Somebody's going to correct us, obviously, in chat. I feel it.
Okay. I've gone
anyways.
and fought my speeding tickets, and it's through a provincial court, I think. Yes, it was.
Yeah. So I know. So I know the Ontario. So I know 160 is an Ontario one because it's part of One Key and it's part of the Ontario system in One Key. And that's the one he got dragged out of. And I believe that's the one he filmed in.
Okay.
And
sorry.
And for anybody who's aware of just the basics of the legal system, you don't film in a courthouse ever. You don't take photos, you don't take filming, you don't do anything in there because that is a massive violation of the law.
Can you hear that?
I can hear music, yes.
No, not music. It's a fan.
Oh, a little bit, yes.
Is it okay? Does it bother anybody?
No, I wouldn't have noticed if you didn't point it out, so...
I forgot I had a fan in front of me, and here I am trying to fan myself, so thank you. Carry on.
Back to what I was talking about, so the audience could enjoy it. All right. No, the fan wasn't, but you were, but that's okay.
I'm a fan.
Oh, big fan of Barry. You got some big fans there.
Stupid Derksen.
Stupid Derksen. Back to stupid Derksen.
Yeah.
So he broke the law right away. And it wasn't just him. There's a few others that also did it, but obviously his name was the one that was known. And it's what irks me the most about the whole thing is just sort of a common thing in regards to them, which is they don't totally understand why you're not allowed to film in the courthouse, so they won't abide by it. It's a childish fucking response to the
Yes.
rule. Purely childish. And they push it and they get away with it, so they figure they can push it some more. And because nobody's caught them, and then when they get caught with it and they get slapped with it hard, like, this is so cruel and wrong. Why? Because you weren't slapped with it before because nobody noticed it till then? No.
Brian
Rule then, rule
Derksen.
now.
Pretend I'm Brian Derksen. Brian Derksen was just filming for the people. He talks in third person. Always.
Yes. So, for the benefit of the audience here, as people have been discussing, when he's in court, because again, he was in court yesterday, and a short synopsis as to why he was in court, and I was able to get some great notes from from somebody here. He was in the court yesterday, not for the arrest that he was got on Friday in regards to filming in court, but having to do with tickets he received. The short of it was he got a whole bunch of he's got a huge history of tickets, both while moving truck and to being parked to just general stupidity while driving. He had some tickets he had to deal with, and they all got withdrawn. So he was doing well. And you think as one of those guys who's doing well because, charges have been withdrawn, take the win and fucking move on. No. He decided to go try to do a rant to the judge, who was confused as fuck. Like, what the hell?
Poor
To
judge.
which Derksen, who's representing himself, jumps off on a rant in the third person, trying to defend somebody who's already had his charges withdrawn. Because, that's what you do when you've already had your charges withdrawn.
You're missing a big important part. Derksen cried like a little bitch.
Yes, that's
He
right.
cried like a little bitch.
There were tears.
Tears.
There were tears during this entire ordeal where he had his he claimed his vehicle was stolen, and other accounts were that his vehicle was impounded.
It was the other Brian Derksen, that Brian Derksen that stole his car, that filmed the incidences with the other Chris Dacey where they were illegally parking and getting tickets for illegally parking and then yelling at the cops for illegally parking in a loading zone. Those things that we saw, that we talked about in previous streams,
totally
were not really that Brian Derksen. That Brian Derksen is the evil Brian Derksen, and the one that was in the courtroom is the pussy ass bitch crybaby Brian Derksen. Okay, don't mix them up.
That's true. I can't mix them up. I mean, like when my evil twin comes in and does all sorts of evil shit, I mean, it's a horrible thing because that's what I'm always doing, is having to deal with my evil twin's bullshit, as opposed to addressing the stupid things I might do. But you know what?
Wait, he tried to give the judge a fee schedule for $1,755 per day until they return his car. How did that go?
I have a feeling. The judge said no.
I wish it wasn't so busy
and
for me yesterday. I totally would have loved to be there in that courtroom.
To be honest, I mean, there was no way to get headway that Derksen was coming out with his gold a day ahead.
Oh, I was at his last court case. I knew exactly how that was going to roll out. I was at the one where he had his charges stayed, and that was funny as fuck. He talked in the third person. He had his arms out, and he's like, talking to the judge, and the judge is like, I can't do anything. He didn't want his charges to be stayed. He wanted to have his day in court, and the judge is like, there's nothing in the law books, and he pulled out books, and he's like, that give me any authority to deny the crown staying your charges. But you're the judge, correct? But I don't make laws, he says. Brian Derksen did this for the people, as he turns his whole body around to his audience behind him. And the other little bitch, Josh Cameron, was crying for Brian Derksen because it was such a moving speech. It wasn't. It was fucking hilarious. But they tried to make it seem like it was so moving. But he wasn't getting his day in court as he wanted. So I could have totally called what happened yesterday. I mean, not all of it, but I would know that it's a show to watch. Just comedy. I was too busy though. It's like the first day of the week after a long weekend. Deposit day, shit like that. I was too busy. Darn.
For you, obviously, there's, since you're in the co-op business, there's certain points in the month that become a little bit more.
Certain points of the month, certain points of the week. Some days are busier than others. The first day of the week is always super busy. So
totally fair.
Yeah. Wow.
That's our Derksen. That is our Derksen. He's going to. So I think I want to summarize Derksen is he is trying to have his moment in court where he feels he's going to get in front of the judge and reveal a whole bunch of the craziest shit and think he's going to be able to upturn Canada and everything else because he's got his chance in court.
It's these delusions of grandeur these people have. They want to be the martyr, the saviors, or whatever. Listen, the rest of the 20 of you, just hoist him up on your shoulders and parade him around and pretend that you won something, and let's call it a day.
Yeah.
If you guys think you've accomplished something, go do it.
Yeah.
Also, would the real Brian Derksen please stand up? Fuck him.
So, agreed. So we're now going to actually do something a little bit unusual here. We're actually going to deal with a story.
We're moving outside of
Canada. It's not
this
common.
One deserved attention. Yeah,
it does. And I will preamble it with saying that Deana pushed for it. I agree with her after she explained to me. She was absolutely right. No, but it's like she.
This is pivotal.
It is pivotal, and so for those who aren't quite aware yet, we are going to be going to Alabama. But I just wanted to preamble. I wasn't too sure if we wanted to do this particular story because again, it's kind of outside of. We try to cover mostly Canadian stuff. We focus a little bit more on Ottawa. Usually it becomes more Ottawa because we're kind of focused, and if there's a lot more stories coming around there, it's where we do, and then we Ontario, and then we start expand further if we have more time, and that's just what's going on. This one's the first time it's outside of Canada, and I've tried to leer away from going outside of Canada because
we talked about a couple of things that happened in New York and whatever one stream when there was all these hate things that were going on, popping up, violence and stuff. Yeah.
So it's when we do go outside of Canada, and I think it's to your point, which is it's usually for something significant. And this is where you sort of, you said no, this is significant. And having reviewed it and everything else, you were right. And I'm like, how did, again, I try not to question Deana too much, and therefore she should not have argued with me as much as she needed to.
Are you going to play a clip? Or do we explain it? Okay. You have to see the clip if you haven't seen the clip.
Oh no, this is a custom clip from me. pause it here for one brief explanation. This is now a single black man, worker on the dock, and he's now has a bunch of white individuals who are now piling on him.
And we'll give you guys the background and stuff after we watch the video or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you're not familiar with everything that's been going on.
Yeah, but this is kind of an important point to mark. This is generally how this story goes, and it kind of starts and ends at this particular point. Just in this particular case, it
ends maybe with the black man's life, actually, because you've got 6 people on him right now. So yeah,
absolutely. And that's usually how it starts and ends, and that's it. It's just in this particular case that didn't go this way. Oops, and maybe I should hit the right button.
Get ready! Hell yeah! Oh shit!
It's a guy swimming.
They wrong for that now.
More people in the upper walkways. Guys swimming.
That boy finna help that boy. Get up there, young buck. Get up there, young buck. Get up there, young buck.
Hey, don't run! Don't run! Don't run! Don't run!
Shit, they tore his ass up. Now, they ready to move now.
He ready to run.
Yeah. What's up?
I was told a minute ago.
Yeah. Woo! They scared. Look at them. They scared. Woo! Beat their ass. Woo! Oh my God. Woo! That what you get. That what you get. That what you get. Oh, tie her ass up.
Please take the guys in the water. 2 guys went in the water. 2 guys went in the water. The dock. Check the 2 guys in the water. Make sure nobody drowns. FYI, in the future, don't fuck with the riverboat crew.
Fuck yeah. Seriously.
Agreed.
Like
But
that invokes so much emotion watching that.
it is, but you know what? Before we talk too much into it, there is a lot I want to make sure is covered before we start getting into it, so everybody's familiar with the context of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to cover everything here too. So, part 2, we're now going to bring you over to the Montgomery, Alabama police for their statement in regards to events that occurred.
Good afternoon. Again, Chief Darrell Albert, Montgomery Police Department. Now, I'll kind of lay out the facts as we know them now regarding the incident that took place on Saturday, August 5th, 2023 at 7 p.m. There were several events taking place on our historic river front. Positive feedback regarding a school event hosted by Montgomery Public Schools and Hyundai was taking place at the amphitheater and nearby train shed. The Harriet II river cruise ship was fully operational, operating from a designated docking space along the river. The Harriet takes passengers on 2-hour tours up and along the the Alabama River throughout the day. On this day, there were 227 passengers aboard that vessel. The incident occurred between the co-captain of the Harriet II vessel and the private boat owner and his family. As the Harriet attempted to dock in its designated space, designated and reserved due to the gangway access as well as the mooring requirements, the private boat was docked in its space, prohibiting safe docking of the Harriet. The captain of the Harriet remained away from the dock for nearly 40 to 45 minutes as he attempted to contact the operators of the private boat via PA system. They were only responded to with obscene gestures, curse words, and taunting. The co-captain was then picked up by a separate vessel and brought to the pier in an attempt to have a conversation with the private boat owners and or have those boats moved so that the Harriet could dock. A confrontation ensued between the co-captain and Mr. Pickett, the co-captain, being attacked by several members of the private boat. Several members of the Harriet II came to Mr. Pickett's defense, engaging in what we all have seen since on social media. I'll give you a timeline as to the way the calls came in and the Montgomery Police Department's response. The original call came in at 7 p.m. as a typical disturbance. The caller, who was the captain of the Harriet, was very calm and not in distress. As additional calls were received, at 7:15 p.m., the call was dispatched to the Montgomery Police Department. 7:18, the first units, 4 Montgomery Police Department officers arrived on scene, with 3 shortly thereafter. 13 individuals were detained and brought to police headquarters for questioning and interviews. Those interviews lasted several hours. At that time, all parties involved were released pending further investigation, but were all given instructions on how to secure warrants on combatants. We have since consulted with and are continuing to work with the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, our state police agency, the Montgomery's DA's office, and the local office of the FBI. This investigation is ongoing and more charges are likely.
So it's not like people weren't trying to go about it the right way. These white, entitled, racist pieces of shit were deciding that they were going to dominate a space that is reserved for another boat that happens to be full of black people. It gets worse, actually. Do you know what happened after? I'll just finish this thought. I don't know if everybody knows what happened after. So, and then the co-captain, who everybody at first thought was like a security guard, goes to tell them face to face, you need to move. And then out of nowhere, like even if they're having words, some piece of shit decides to start punching him. And then he's got control of the situation. And because he has control, some other piece of shit comes running out of nowhere. And then they start attacking him.
Well, that's the first, that's the beginning of the video I was showing there at the beginning.
Yeah,
there.
It's ridiculous, but ridiculous. And then that kid that actually jumped off the boat, I heard, is actually a crew member and jumped to go help his crew, like a fellow staff person. So that was a 16-year-old kid that dove into the water and swam 100 yards to go and help this person. And
kid needs to be on the swim team. because he
Yeah.
fucking
Amazing.
ruled it. Yeah.
And like, I don't care that there was a chair being swung around. I don't give a shit about all of this other stuff. This was, these people decided to try to jump and attack a man that we know, like you said at the beginning, Joe, this would have ended in that man getting his ass kicked, probably to the point where he died, and nobody would have done anything. But something changed, and people are like, nope, not today. And it sent a ripple effect. And then to all those people are like, no, they're not racist. You can't prove whatever. Do we all know what happened after they got their heads kicked in? They went to the hospital in Alabama. They went to the hospital there. And the majority of the staff, the nurses, were Black. And so they even said, we don't want to be treated by these N-words. And like, we're disgusting. So they called the police. And the police came. And the police said, well, you either get treated here or you leave. And they left because they would much rather be broken than be treated by Black people. They're disgusting.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, Montgomery has a very significant Black community. Like, it's a large majority of the population. And there's a lot of history there. We can go into it a little bit more in regards to their suppression. They've always had a sort of white leadership going on there. There's all sorts of crazy wrong things in regards to Alabama that we would be horrified with. A lot more than what we want to unpack.
Yeah.
In one night. There's one last video I want to bring up because it's kind of really summarizes many points I think we want to make.
Yeah.
So,
I love this creator.
Absolutely. So, if you're on TikTok, you should follow the following person.
What happened in Montgomery, Alabama was absolutely hilarious. Oh, y'all really let Jason Aldean gas your heads up, huh? That was your first mistake. You don't take fighting tips from a fake cowboy who wears bedazzled skinny jeans. I love to see it. You know those idiots were on the boat all day listening to that song on repeat. I can't wait, Bubba, till they try that in a small town. We'll show them. I've never seen a song taken away from a group of people so quickly in my life. You had a month. You had a good run. Oh, and I already know what the comments are going to say in this video. How could you celebrate violence? Both sides were wrong. You're causing a divide. Why can't we all just get along? Do you know why there's so much glee and happiness and celebration after this brawl? Because the scenario never ends this way. And we've seen that one too many times, where a group of angry white men go to attack an innocent Black man. And in this case, an innocent Black man who was just trying to do his fucking job. This isn't how the story usually ends. And that deserves to be celebrated. So you think about that before you say some shit like that. And understand why people are happy and people are celebrating. So, Mr. Aldean, it's time to whip out your notebook and pencil and write a new anthem. Anyways, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. And it's, to me, what resonates the strongest in regards to what she said was, the story never ends this way. Mm-hmm. That to me is sort of like, that's it exactly there. This is everything in regards to why there's such celebration behind this, why there's such a large amount of people behind this going, yes, this is what we're behind. This is what we're understanding. This is what we are enjoying, because it never ends this way. It didn't end this way for George Floyd. It didn't end this way for Trey. It didn't end this way for name almost 100, if not more, people who have died.
Just for doing something while black.
Exactly.
Just for walking home with a pack of Skittles while black.
Yeah.
Just for
Exactly.
jogging while black. Just for driving while black. Just for sleeping while black. Like,
Just for doing his job of trying to move another boat to dock a larger ship who he doesn't own to get his job so he can go home to his family while black. And this could have ended just the same way as all the other stories, but this didn't happen this day at all.
Yep. And one of the reasons why I thought this was so important to put up here is because the winds have changed. There's a shift. Black TikTok is on fire. I am absolutely loving it. And just so you know, the man who invented the folding chair was black. So the history
Really?
that's coming out, yeah, it's so awesome.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. And like they're just moving so fast, but they are like, if you're not on TikTok, you need to get on TikTok. And like some of the shit is super hilarious, but I'm also learning a lot of stuff too. But one of the TikToks that really made me feel even more of something was earlier today. It was a black man who told a story about how him and his neighbor, they don't like each other, and they always give each other like, side eye. They yell at each other, just crappy things. And one particular day, like that day or whatever, he went outside and his neighbor was out there, and the neighbor yells out, "Hey, OG." He's like, "What? What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm having some beers. Why don't you come over and have some beers?" He's like, he goes over and has beers. And then he's like, his neighbor's like, "Man, I don't know why I don't like you." And that guy's like, "I don't know why I don't like you either." And so they bonded because they just saw this video where black people came together and did something different than, what they've done before. And so they are becoming closer. And the guy started off his TikTok by saying, "Alabama, you have no idea what you've done." So then later and this guy doesn't usually drink, he says, so whatever, blah, blah, blah. So then they go to pick up some more beers and they drive 6 blocks out, and there's the Crips are sitting there, blue bandanas. He's like, they're like, "Oh shit," whatever. And then he's like, "Do you know who was next to them?" The Bloods were next to them, and they're all blazing together, and they're all shooting the shit, and they're all having a great time or whatever. Like, they've connected, like these two gangs that are, meant to kill each other. And this is wherever he's from. I don't know where he's from. Doesn't mean it's happening all over the United States, but this is what he's seeing. And he was like so moved by it. And he said, we are not our enemies. And this whole divide and conquer thing is starting to lose its grip. And so that's why, it to me, it all ties in together, because all of this is about divide and conquer. We are told to hate each other so that capitalism can work. That's the only way it will work, is when there's an enemy that we can all just be distracted with. And so I'm just so happy. And then it also ties in, and I'm not going to talk too much about this because we're almost done, but people need to start paying attention, because I found this. All of a sudden on my TikToks, I'm getting all this news about what's happening in Africa. And I can't believe I had no idea what was happening in Africa. And everybody needs to start paying attention to what's happening in Africa, because that is also pivotal. This is going to change the world, what is happening right now. So pay attention. Maybe I'll do my own separate live about it, or I'm going to talk more about it. But
you have the ability to do a TikTok live now.
I do.
I know.
But I just feel
So do
like
I.
the global black and people of color they've always known what the issues are, but something has shifted, and the leaders in Africa are no longer fighting each other. They are coming together because
People
they
of
have
color,
a common
yeah.
issue.
People in color have never had doubts as to where the source of the problem is.
Right.
They've now been able to get, I guess one way I put it, they may have found a way to get a solid footing to propel forward and to send their message out. Something they may not have had. Something may have occurred to change, given that footing that helps them.
Well,
and you know what? If that's the case, take it.
What I
Do
think
what
it
you
is
can
in
with it.
Africa is that it's like these people who are elected because foreign governments are making sure that they're getting elected. And these are the yes mans. And we're seeing a few coups going on in Africa. And it's scary at the same time because Russia and China are becoming close allies with Africa. So we need to fucking pay attention, and we need to make sure that we are a part of their liberation from colonialism, French, Dutch, British, all of that, European, anything, and that they become independent and their resources and everything. And we can be really valuable trading partners because Russia is promising them grain, which is what Ukraine was giving them. Russia's promising them grain. Where do you think Russia is going to be attacking Ukraine? Do you think, and here we have the Africans who are trying to peace talk, and maybe that's exactly what they're doing, but what do these peace talks entail, especially when Russia is promising them a resource that mainly comes from the Ukraine? So we need to pay attention to what's going on, and we have enough grain in this country to feed the world 3 times over. So we have valuable commodities as well that we can be good partners with the continent of Africa, the countries of Africa. Egypt was represented, Nigeria was represented, all of these countries in Africa, South Africa, Zimbabwe, so on, so on. So anyway, I'm not going to, again, that's where I'm going to leave this. But yeah, we need to...
we do need to look a little more. And
forget about the aliens. Nobody fucking cares.
That's pretty much the main message to everybody right now. Follow Deana. She's doing a fair amount of looky in regards to it, both on Twitter. She's back on her main account on Twitter now. Say it out. As well as on TikTok to go there. Don't forget to join us also on, let me do set messaging here. Whoops, shit.
Brian Derksen again.
Yeah.
Loser. Let's all laugh at him one last time.
Laugh at Derksen as we remind you guys, don't forget to join us on Auto Activism. If you guys want to join us on the Discord, we message there to give you guys information as to what's going on. And don't forget to join us on Friday nights at 9 o'clock for a space where pretty much anything you guys want to talk about is up to you. Till then, thanks for joining us. We will sign out and leave you guys with this last video.
Good night.
I'm happy right now because I haven't seen near as many rainbow flags and rubbish as we've seen last year.
They're making the kids wear these flags and these hats.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, don't make the kids wear these flags and these hats and make it their entire personality.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They make it their whole identity. They've got the shirts, they've got the flags, they got the hats, they got the shirts. It's like it's their whole personality. You got these people with these flags. They're waving it in our faces.
Right. I don't care if you're gay.
Just don't wave this flag in my face. These flags everywhere that they wave around in everyone's face. It's become their entire personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have these people with their flags and their hats that they wave around in everyone's faces, and it's become their entire personality.
I live in a place where everybody is gay. I hope I could say that.
You can't say gay, it's Florida.
Oh.
No, that's only at Disney.
You should have seen how it looked me trying to just get on a flight to get down here with a MAGA hat on. They treated me like I was Osama bin Laden.
It's become harder to be open about your identity nowadays. Right?
Yeah, people just need to speak up. They need to say what they believe. I'm a straight male as well.
You're a straight white male.
And I'm proud of that.
You should see my truck. I can't see out my back window because I got so many bumper stickers. Just on a Saturday or Sunday, I got nothing to do. I put my flags out and I ride through town to remind everybody.
I can't wear a MAGA hat in some places because, some people don't like that identity. Can you imagine like going someplace and being attacked just for your identity?
That's crazy.